Yeah.
And here's the other thing that, all right, so you never know who's strong militarily and what shit actually works. And all we have is the History Channel and the little mini wars that the major powers have every now and then. But Iran looks really incapable of hurting Israel in any way, right? Like they keep launching these big barrages of mixed missiles and drones, and Israel's kind of swats them away like they're nothing. Meanwhile, they send when they shoot, it's kind of like when we shoot, like they shoot from F-35 stealth planes with laser guided bombs.
It's our money,
so it like hits. Well, we don't need to do that again, do we? I know it's our money, and
I'm kidding.
Our money spends well. All right, look, you could look at it that way.
There's enough.
I'm happy that our shit actually works.
It works,
right? Because whatever Russia's doing, Russia spends money. Then you find out some oligarch put it in his pocket, and they don't have winter clothing for their.
You see their stealth drone they got shot down. All right, so here's
that's
the story.
Not supposed to happen to stealth drones.
Zach, see if you can find the Russian stealth drone that got shot down. There's multiple pictures of it. One of them has a human being standing on top for scale because it'll blow you away how big it is. What it is, it's a copy of an American stealth drone that I think got taken down over Iran like 10 years ago during the Obama administration. I think they like spoofed the GPS, made our shit land and captured it, and then sent it to Russia. And the Russians made a bad copy of it, and they have two of them. And I guess they were flying. That's the wing of it. I'd love to see it like before they destroyed it, because I guess they lost control of it, which to me always says the enemy somehow spoofed something and took control of it, and then the Russians themselves shot it down. It's really big, triangular shaped. Like that wing is bigger than a car.
This doesn't look very impressive to me, but it could just be that it's wrecked up.
I wish we had. There we go.
That looks more like.
You're more impressed when they're still flying. That makes sense.
It's when I see what it looks like. Because if you would have shown me this and been like, "Hey, the U.S. has a stealth drone, or a stealth plane," I would have been like, "Yeah, that's the shape of the fucking stealth planes." But would have believed.
But yeah, it seems like they make these copies of our shit, and they can only make like a handful of them. And they're like, "See, our thing matches up to your thing, even though it doesn't." But then they've also only got like 12 of them. I hate to keep like sucking America's military's cock, but like we've got so many planes. We've got so many planes, Taylor. You don't even understand how many planes. Hundreds and hundreds of planes. Like the top 3 air forces in the world, I think, are all United States. It's like the Air Force,
like the Air Force,
Corps,
the Navy,
the Army are like the top 4 air forces or something in the world.
Well, how many planes do we really have? Not trying to trap you with something. Like, is it like 10,000, 20,000?
Oh, I don't.
Because when you said hundreds, I thought you were doing that thing I do sometimes, where you like dramatically get lower in
it's hundreds and hundreds of. It's like most air forces will have like a dozen of their good things, or like the Russians have like 40 or 50 of those good planes. We have hundreds of them for F-15s, F-16s, F-22s, F-35s. Yeah, like huge.
So we have a fleet of probably tens of thousands of total military planes.
Well, there are different kinds of planes, right? There's transport stuff and fuel stuff, and there's all those like AWACS planes, those things that sit up there with that big dome on top and overwatch the whole battlefield.
Those are pretty cool.
Troop moving planes. There's all sorts of planes. I don't know how many fighter jet bomber type things we have, but we still have that B-52 fleet. We still fly those motherfuckers.
That's what I always thought was interesting when they would show
the answer.
And they'd be like, America has 8 of these. And in my head, it's like 8? It's the military. I would picture 800.
So I just Googled how many planes does the U.S. military have? And obviously, like Kyle said, there's lots of different roles for these. 13,300. Russia, 4,000. China, 3. India, 2. That's my list.
India?
In thousands.
Are they good? The Indian planes?
The other thing you want to, they have MiGs. The other thing you want or you want to Google is how many 4th generation fighters does each country have? Because nobody's got a 5th generation except for us, not a real one. And we're working on the 6th generation fighter now.
What does that mean? Like, what's the difference between 4th and 5th and 6th? Like, what's the new feature? I guess
the stealth, the integration of stealth, and a lot of the battle coordination systems that the new stuff have. The F-22s and the F-35s are our 5th gen planes.
Okay.
The Chinese have this thing called a J something or another, but it doesn't match up, and they don't have very many. And the Russians have a SU something or another, but it's the same thing. It doesn't match up well. and they don't have that many. It's the same thing everywhere. It's crazy the amount of cool shit we have. We're ready for the aliens, Taylor. See, we've got this in Ukraine. I don't know if you know.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing, you idiot. Just keep giving them money and shut up. They're doing this for you. Your mom understands.
You may have forgotten your bank passwords, but we haven't.
The biolabs in Ukraine that Vladimir Putin's been trying to extinguish for a few years now in his crusade for freedom and peace and the denazification of the Ukraine. Those biolabs, I'm sure you're all well aware, are developing biological weapons that are targeted towards specific races and ethnic groups.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You don't know this? You don't know this? These are facts.
No. These diseases came from Chinese people eating bat soup.
What diseases are we from? You think we're talking about COVID? Did you just wake up?
I'm joking around.
We're not talking about COVID. We're talking about specific biological warfare meant to kill Slavic people, Germanic peoples, maybe African people, whoever they want. So what I'm saying is, this is Russian propaganda that Kyle's joking about, and they said it was one of the reasons for invading Ukraine.
Yeah, well, maybe they are. Maybe they're eating a lot of bat soup over there and then vomiting into petri dishes.
I'm just saying, if you could have something that dealt with Cubans, if you could have something, maybe we could talk to Zelensky about these Cubans.
Do you remember like early in COVID, people were like, "Hey, I think it's actually more likely this came from the Wuhan virology lab 40 yards away where they were researching dangerous diseases and some escaped." And they're like, "No, idiot, fake news moron. It was Chinese people being disgusting that caused it."
Oh, where'd you read that, Taylor?
Thousands of years.
Oh, you probably read that on Hunter Biden's laptop, huh, Taylor? Is that where you saw that story? We're in imagination land.
That's so funny. People were like, "It was bat soup, idiot." It's like, yeah,
dude, I thought it was bat. I believed the bat. I didn't believe bat soup, but when they described to me the wet market or whatever, and how you'd have like a pangolin shitting into like a gopher's mouth, and then the gopher shitting into a parrot's mouth, and then people would be like eating all three shits rubbed on the gophers while they barbecued it, and like back and forth. I was like,
dude, that's what they've been doing in those wet. Those wet markets didn't prop up in 2018. Like they've been doing that for hundreds.
Yeah, but mutations occur over time. That one, what's the African? Ebola came from a cave in Africa. 2 different famous deadly diseases came from the same bat cave in Africa. Ebola and I don't know what the other one is, but it's a disease It's like one of those. Like, why
don't we fill that cave in?
Dude, when I read that online, and I was like, why are we not hitting that with a bunker buster like tomorrow?
No, that'll spread it. We just need
the worst idea. Trump.
That's the worst.
Why don't we nuke it? See if that makes it better.
What we're gonna do is
we're gonna spray the bacteria everywhere. No, it's gonna incinerate them with fire.
No, it would probably not.
One or the other. Let's see.
Why not just pour an enormous amount of concrete down there? Seal it up.
Concrete.
No.
Yeah, now you got a fucking roads and bridges project in Africa. That ought to go well.
I think we have lead and an ant farm. It's cool.
Yeah, the Chinese can do it, or we can do it. Like, we'll just fill it with concrete. Make sure that dastardly cave doesn't cause problems anymore.
The fucking carbon footprint alone from that much concrete is not going to be worth the squeeze.
If it's shutting down the
carbon footprint,
if it's shutting down the Ebola cave,
my biggest fear shutting down the Ebola cave is the carbon footprint that may or may not be created by the concrete created in that area and the substandard labor that would be employed.
Ever since vaccination, Ebola is classified as endangered.
Zach, fact check me on that because I know I'm right. It's like what the cave had, like Ebola and like another, like West Nile virus or some shit, like another famous disease is from that bat cave, and it's like, why would we give them a third chance? This is like Nazi Germany. Not like we got to get rid of these guys.
Yeah, fill all their caves with concrete. Figure the rest out. This is you guys are the ones who let the caves get out of control.
Concrete first, ask questions later. That's
well, it's better filling it with concrete. If I was the president of that
idea
decision, you could either fill it with concrete and seal all of the.
How's concrete better than napalm? How is concrete better than fire?
Because you don't blow it up and you don't spread all the nonsense.
Purifying fire. That's not what our bomb. It's like Acme rockets. It's not going to make it a big mushroom cloud. We're gonna vaporize those fuckers. We're gonna burn them all. 2 different.
Imagine one of those Russian guys you send me videos of is Ebola. What happens when they blow him up? Does it go away or does it get everywhere?
Dude, I saw a gruesome video today. The guy was on fire. He was on fire, Taylor, this Russian guy. And I guess he decided to kill himself, but all he had was a grenade. And I was like, my God, what a time to have a 6-second fuse on a grenade. He's just burning. And it was rough because they wear those goose down jackets and they just go poof and make a big cloud of feathers.
Where would you put a grenade if you were trying to end it?
Next to my head, like right next to your head. Yeah, big time. And then like against the ground to like make sure the force is like doubly amplified.
You put your head against the ground and
like a pillow.
Like a pillow. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oof, man, that would suck if it failed. And now you're just your jaw's gone.
It was a stun grenade.
I wonder if that will kill you.
That was flashbang, Dimitri. What? I bet that was. I can't hear nothing. Man, war is horrific. I'm so glad. My dad used to say it all the time. I'm sure he still does if I prompted him. But
you just said it like he was dead.
I know, right? But like every day we'd be hanging out together. And he'd be like, so what a beautiful day to be alive. So good. So good. There's nobody over there to fight. Like we'd see the news or something. Like we don't have to do battle for this land over here. This is our land. Nobody's coming to fuck with us. Like this is just ours, and we never have to even worry about.
Because someone else is fighting your fight for you right now, and you should
Harley's
appreciate that.
We gave that guy discounts at AutoZone. Enough is enough.
Oh my God. I use that card all the time, that AutoZone discount card.
Your veterans card?
Oh, no, my uncle worked at AutoZone. It's just same discount. And he kept his letter.
Started at the bottom, worked his way all the way to the top.
Dude, they always ask me if I'm a veteran, and I'm like, no.
Oh my God, just steal a little value.
I'm a pussy.
No, dude,
do
I
it.
Can't lie.
I'm really the only one that's ever stolen valor.
Yes.
At Subway.
How do you?
What's the deal with Subway?
How did you
free cookies?
But he started slicing the meat, and I freaked out because Blade reminded me of my time in the Middle East. I steal valor for Vietnam.
Tell me you're a tunnel rat.
I was a tunnel rat.
Apparently like North Korean troops are being deployed in Ukraine and Russia.
Good ones. Yeah.
I can just imagine, dude, like if you're like
North Koreans.
Like if you're Ukrainian
in Ukraine, that North Koreans are allied with the Russians, and they're fighting in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are like, look, a dead North Korean soldier. That's evidence that the North Koreans are fighting us.
Yeah, like North Korea that does it, or I always think of North Korea as like a pet of China. And so is it like China doesn't want to get themselves involved?
Oh yeah, I think China must have been involved with some of this
because North Korea can't survive without imports directly.
Well, I was just gonna say, could you imagine like you're like Ukrainian, and then you just start seeing like a lot more Asian faces, and they're all like tired and hungry, and you're just like, dude, I think we're winning.
There's a lot of 5'5" Asian bodies around here.
It's a good deal
if you're a Russian dude and you're like shooting, and then like all of a sudden you just got like Asian faces, and they're like, I don't know what you're saying, bro.
It's a really good deal for the North Koreans. The North Koreans aren't just sending like starving soldiers to get thrown into the mix. They're sending all sorts of officers to get experience in a real modern war. This is a great practice and training tactic. Like I wouldn't imagine they would send their worst. They'll send their best. They'll send the guys that they want to get trained up. Maybe they do send some of their worst too for a fee. Maybe they'll trade 5,000 peasant soldiers for some barley and wheat this winter or something like that.
Well, I think a lot of these soldiers are getting fed. They're like, yo, it's cool out here, dude. If we don't get killed, like we get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's crazy.
Dude, I'm getting a gut. How awesome is this?
I had bread twice this week.
My abs are gone.
Yeah.
This place rocks.
No, that's an interesting part of the war. I know that some Iranians have also been killed in Ukraine, but they were specifically involved with some sort of drone warfare unit. Like they were there getting training, doing drone strikes. Like that unit was, and they blew those guys up. That drone warfare is so sketchy. I saw one of the tank drones, finally a video on Reddit, and Man, they're so close
This
to
is
like
a ground-based drone.
Yeah, it's like a little one with a machine gun on it, and it's like they're getting so close to Terminators, dude.
I saw a guy.
They're 15 years away from Terminators.
I saw
They'll
a guy
never make them
running.
like that.
I saw a guy running from a drone, and it was just like such a weird fucking video to watch. It was crazy.
It's
'Cause the guy's, like,
dystopian.
It is insanely dystopian.
There's a
It's so
Black Mirror episode
and the
like
fact that it
10
like
years ago.
starts off with like as if it was like a Call of Duty YouTube like highlights, like FaZe Clan type thing at the beginning. It has like a graphic.
Let
and it's
the
like,
bodies hit the floor.
yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
like it's literally like they got music playing, and it's a guy like he sees the drone, and then like sees that the drone sees him, so he starts to run, but it just turns faster than you. It's faster than you. It just needs to get near you.
I saw
and he's
I saw
running
an
from it,
awards
and it's
ceremony.
just fucked. I'm like, what's going through your head? Like it's that like just
Think about
like
it the other
running
end, though.
from it. It's
It's
so
fucked
crazy.
up.
No, think about the other end of the drone, though. So Zelensky just gave, like, I don't know, the hero of Ukraine medal to this drone operator, and they gave that guy's kill list. Now, a lot of
Sam
times,
Hyde.
a lot of times you'll have like a Carlos half-cock American sniper or a Chris Kyle American sniper, and it's like confirmed kills versus real kills, and it's like his story versus somebody else's story, and like how do you even keep count? These guys are video recording every single strike they make. And I think he had 441 kills.
Who gives a fuck about someone's kills when they're sitting in a bunker 800 miles away?
Excuse me?
Get
What do
the
you want to
same
get? Oh,
award
get your sword
Carlos.
out. Get your sword out, Olaf, and charge across the field. I'm sure
Hold
someone
on. Do you really see any sort of equivocation between Carlos Hathcock, a hero sniper in Vietnam, and someone who's drinking Red Bulls and has a break time hourly and sitting there playing
So,
Xbox?
Taylor, I want to answer that. Like I can see where you're coming from. One guy's in far more.
There's no
danger.
honor in the second one whatsoever.
But hold on. The one guy's in a lot
Wrong.
more danger. Now they are in
Wrong.
some danger because they can't be too far from the
Great
front
deal
line.
of
They,
danger.
they don't do it from like North Carolina, but
we do. They don't.
but in terms of effectiveness, though, like you're talking about like the honor and
The honor, yeah.
yeah. If you throw the honor away and just look at who's the more effective guy, that drone operator is incredibly
For
effective.
sure, but it's not him specifically. It's, the technology. That guy would be sitting,
Well,
programming
you could
something.
say
at
that's
home.
not the sniper specifically; it's the intelligence.
Not really. Like if you've
Well,
read,
I don't know why you're
It's the
poo-pooing
gun
this guy.
manufacturer.
He
Memoirs.
wasn't like
It's him
look,
specifically.
first of all,
You've read
this
Carlos
guy-
Hathcock's memoirs.
I have, and
Like
it's-
what? That gun
I'm not
shoots from
comparing the
300
two. What I'm
meters
saying-
away. That's not
I was
even.
only
Falling through
comparing
the
them
muck
in the-
for miles.
I was only comparing the two in the sense that one of them you have the kills on video, and the other you have a story.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know what I mean? There's not one of this kid's kills that's in dispute because every single one of them is recorded in, I don't know, 360p or something. Yes. He had like 440 individual kills, but then it was a litany of vehicles. It was like how many heavy tanks, how many light tanks, how many trucks. He had destroyed a fucking army himself. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
And he was
I-
like 26, maybe. Like he was very young.
Yeah. It's just like the
Hero
drone
of
thing.
Ukraine.
The drone thing is like a complete removal of honor from warfare.
I think we've had that removal.
Like the
already.
archer.
I think that removal.
I bet
happened,
that's what they used to say
there's-
about English archers. There was
there-
some guy on the other
you know
end.
this?
He
Do
was
you
like,
know-
this is completely without honor. Is he like,
No, do you actually know the history here? So when crossbows were invented, the British
I know that
refused.
history.
I knew you did. When the
I
crossbows
need
were
it, I need
invented,
it.
the British were always famous for.
I mean, I know it. Tell all those
longbows.
weirdos that listen, they don't know it.
Yeah,
Tell them.
so
I
the
know
British,
it.
the British won a lot of wars because they were excellent archers and they had long bows made of yew, I think, that could shoot huge distances, and they were actually really accurate with them. And these dudes were jacked; they were like 120-pound pulls.
their
And
skeletons
then,
are you can tell an archer by their skeleton to this day because it reshapes the
Yeah.
musculature and skeleture of those people. Like their right side is completely.
Kyle's right. You can tell it.
Bow.
You can find on YouTube right now if you look up like an archer. There's this
The
old
old guy.
who pulls it back, and his right side is fucking just that lean tensile strength muscle, and the left side is not like that because that's the structure side. And so when crossbows were invented, the British didn't use them. They refused to use them because they saw part of warfare as the honor of skill, that it took skill to kill someone. If you're going to kill someone with a longbow, it's really difficult. But you can give any peasant, anyone, a crossbow, and now you can kill that way. And so they, for a good while, the British military did not adopt the crossbow because they saw it as shameful. Like,
Look,
you
the further,
but
I
if
agree on
that
that.
kid, the drone operator, if he got 441 kills in Russia with the crossbow, that'd be fucking
dude, no, if he was
crazy
360
now.
off rooftops, no one would be saying anything about his honor. That's
Taylor,
honor.
you're talking about honor and war.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's something that us non-soldiers talk about. Like, I bet the people who really fight in these wars are like, yeah, man, it's not what you think. It's not as heroic as you think. It's everybody's scared. Everybody's
that'd be the job I'd want.
being a little bit
But
gray.
part of
Is
honor.
that the job we'd all want, right?
Part
Like that
of-
guy with the collection of ears, did he have honor?
Like, part of honor is behaving
Smell 'em.
appropriately under immense stress and fear. Like, that's part of what's being honorable, courageous. Like, that's so when you hear about a knight who killed a bunch of people on a battlefield, or you hear about a sniper like Carlos Hathcock who killed dozens of people, and he would crawl through miles of muck and bullshit, getting infections in his feet and his legs because he was still for so long. Like, that's a level of honor. That's a level of courage that's simply absent
down
from
that-
someone
that-
using.
that-
I
It's
don't know,
impressive
bro.
that he did
Wearing
something
that whole
hard,
ass
but-
metal suit.
He did
dude.
something honorable. There's no
Dude, you're
honor
wearing a
in
whole ass
sitting
metal
and
suit in the battlefield.
directing
That's
with Xbox to kill
You know, a
someone.
lot of
You
people
got
think
armor.
sniper is not an honorable way to fight.
dude. I
Sniper's
think a
closer to
knight
crossbow.
covered
I
in
don't think
armor,
there's ever been a
stomping
more-
out
I don't think there's ever
peasants.
been a better definitive line in what is and is not honorable fighting than sitting 100, 200, 500 miles away with an Xbox controller blowing people
It's
up.
literally, but that's the equivalent of a knight going against some peasants with wooden sticks, stomping them all out, and it's like this
Yeah,
guy's a fucking hero.
yeah,
It's
you're
like
right.
He's in a fucking metal suit.
That's
It's like
fair. And
stomping them
times
out.
change, and I could be 1,000,000% wrong on this. I'm open to
No,
that.
you're
And
right.
then there were
You-
guys in fighter jets in Iraq war just plinking tanks who showed
Oh,
up so obviously under infrared.
They were like
And-
drunk last night.
That's
Yeah.
pretty comparable to the drone stuff, but we're
It
not
is,
talking about
except
what
drones are
coward
even
No,
pilots
further
are.
it's
away.
less, but I see what he's saying. But at least those guys in the planes are like literally there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Like,
can't.
they're
see
Over
it.
there.
Iraq, no one's shooting down our planes. We
Yeah.
had
No,
No,
total
for
air
sure,
control.
I agree with you.
So
But they're there though. They
How about
saw
this?
it.
How about
Kind of.
let's really
These
take
Iraqi
all-
guys are there.
Let's take it to the limit. You have a button on your desk, and when you press it, an enemy soldier dies.
You got to aim.
You press it 100 times, and then you're given the Presidential Medal of
They
Freedom.
wouldn't
for your
need me
valor.
to push that button.
Is that
okay?
brave?
Like,
Is
they're
that
gonna need me
courage? Is
to
that
aim. Look,
valorous?
I agree with you. Every step you take away from like choking the guy to death is a less honorable step that also separates you from the pain of what you're doing and like what you should actually feel as a human and like
You
not
argue
wanna
about
do
the
the thing.
dumbest shit.
No, this is fucking no. This is poignant. This is good
It
stuff.
is poignant.
right here.
Yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
tempt my fingers.